All right, I think we're on. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Studio D's YouTube channel. If you haven't been with us before, welcome. And if you have been with us before, welcome back. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. We will be touching base on the video that Danika posted on Monday. If you guys haven't watched it, you definitely should, especially before you hear what I'm about to say, because I'm going to comment on some of the stuff that she was talking about on Monday. So you can click on the link right here and you can go see Danika's video. And she kind of touched on a couple things that we're going to get into today. So if you don't know me already, my name is Kate, and I am the Studio D clinic director. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can find that in our first video of our YouTube channel, which is also right here. If you click on that, you can get to know me a little bit better. And today we will be going into some of the things that Danika brought up. So the three things that Danika talked about on Monday was the gym, your boutique studio that you go to for yoga, Pilates, spin class, and the clinic that you see our healthcare practitioners at. And she kind of touched on why these things may not be actually working towards your health goals the way you think they are. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit more today and kind of give you guys that from the lens of where I'm taking our clinic and the direction that we're going here at Studio D. So let's get started. I'm really excited, guys. So the first things that Danika talked about was the gym and the studio, and she kind of talked about them separately, but I'm going to kind of talk about them together because I think they go hand in hand with why I think a lot of people don't find great success with them. So whether you're at the gym working on a program that you found online or one that you created yourself, or even one that's an online personal trainer has made for you, or whether you're at the studio and you're doing a class that an instructor made for you, Danika kind of touched on those wide spectrum classes where the creation of the content is meant to fit everybody. So from A to Z, and no matter when you enter, it's accessible to everybody. So those classes kind of juxtapose with the ones that you're kind of doing at the gym yourself on your own terms. Either way, doesn't really matter, kind of falls in the same category for me. And that is that no matter what you do, if you start at the gym or if you start at a studio, you're going to find amazing success right away. And you're going to have fun. And like Danika talked about, there's that whole community aspect and fitness aspect and just health aspect. There's nothing bad about going to the gym or studio when it comes to just getting out there and being healthy. What you will find, though, is you're going to have great success and like a kind of big boom improvement in kind of your fitness goals or your health goals or whatever you're seeking that for, whatever you're doing. You're going to see this really big upsurge in progress. And that's because your body, it's a new activity and your body is adapting and learning and growing and getting stronger or mobile or flexible, whatever it is. And it will do that. It will adapt, and your body's really intelligent, and it will do that to a certain point. And then what you're going to see is a plateau when your body has reached that point where it's no longer being challenged. And so depending on who you are, that plateau is going to happen at different times. So if you're a really new beginner versus if you are super advanced and you're very body aware, that plateau is going to happen at a different time, but it will happen. And why that is because those exercises can only be modified or changed so much. So if you are doing a program and you're really experienced, you're going to be able to adapt, change, kind of make micro little changes in your workout to make it harder when you feel like it's getting too easy, whether that's increasing your weight or, increasing a movement to lengthen that movement, or, if you're doing a Legree class, you're going slower. All of these things will make it feel harder. And so if you're an experienced person, you're going to make those adjustments yourself. It will get harder. It doesn't matter. You're still going to plateau, maybe just a little bit farther down the road. The only way that you can't plateau is if you actually change what your body needs. You have to challenge it in different ways. And so that's usually when people reach out and they either go and see a physio or they get a personal trainer, or they completely fall off. They don't do it anymore. They're not seeing that improvement as fast as they were at the beginning. Or with boutique gyms, often what we see is you'll fall off one, you'll start at another one. So you're at Orange Theory and you're doing great, and then you start to see a lot of improvement, and then you stop seeing improvement, and then you're like, oh, okay, this maybe isn't for me, and you try something new. And you get that same really good improvement at the beginning, and then you plateau. And so we get kind of in this cycle. And so the way that we get out of this cycle is we need to work with our bodies and challenge it in different ways. And so what we're doing kind of at Studio D is we call it a bridge, or the bridge program, or any really variation of the word bridge, which is really taking you from where you are to where you want to be. And when you get over to where you want to be, allowing you to have the tools and knowledge to be super, super successful. And so we had a ton of patients come to us all being like, I want to get back to this sport, or I want to go to the gym, or I want to feel comfortable going to this fitness class. And a lot of it is just about, confidence and not wanting to get injured, or really even just being intimidated by the environment. And so one of the biggest things we want to do is create an atmosphere, an environment for people to feel like they can get started on that path. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, is just getting on that path, getting started. And so we want people to feel really comfortable with that. So we get them started in the clinic, and we do a full analysis, and we look at where their gaps might be, whether that's strength, compensation patterns, old injuries, maybe a mental block about some type of exercise or whatever it might be. We look at very much the foundation, and then we start you on the program. And one of the biggest things I find that is lacking is people, when they start at the beginning, they're looking to build strength or increase their flexibility, or maybe both. And what I really feel like is missing when we're trying to build confidence and allow people to have that kind of empowerment to get down their goals and their journey is that kind of knowledge component and education. And so we do a lot of trying to teach people why they're doing a movement or what this movement is doing for them. And so as we're kind of building the blocks of strength and building that nice strong foundation so that somebody can go into that environment and be really successful, we're also trying to teach and give them tools that when they go to that gym or they go to that studio or whatever you want to do to have fun and be out with your friends, that you have kind of this internal dialogue that you're thinking about that's going to A, decrease your chance of getting injuries, and B, is going to allow you to make those adjustments and really optimize what you're getting out of a class. So if you go into a class and your instructor gives you a series of exercises, let's say one of them, easy example, is a push-up. And you're like, I'm not strong enough to do a push-up yet. Instead of having somebody, and this is an example I get a lot, I can't do a push-up, I'm going to modify it. I'm going to put a different exercise in there. They want to be involved. That's great. They do crunches, but the purpose of the push-up isn't the same as the purpose of the crunch. And so, if you want to build towards the strength that push-up is going to give them, and the reason why that instructor gave you that exercise in the first place, you have to kind of know the background behind that exercise, what it's doing for you, why you want to do it. And that way, when you're in that class, you can make those decisions yourself so that you get the most out of that class and you get the most working towards your goals. So we don't get those plateaus that we talked about. Another great example of that I find with a lot of people know how to squat properly. They've been taught, it's great. They know how to squat, bodyweight squat, not a problem. I watch them squat. It looks good, their form's good, but something's missing. And what I find that missing component is the intention. They do the exercise, they're not actually thinking about what they're doing during that exercise. They're not thinking about their breathing. They're not thinking about what muscles are firing when. And that allows people to kind of open them up for injuries and also for not getting everything out of that movement or that exercise that they could be. So we work a lot on, why are you doing this exercise? Where are you feeling it? Where should you feel it? And we really find that people can really achieve their goals way faster when they have that kind of background knowledge that they can apply when they're doing those exercises. And so the Bridge program really is about taking that foundation and making it really, really strong and really allowing you to have success when you take that platform and you apply it out in the real world. And that actually leads us into what I want to talk about next, which is kind of the last thing Danika talked about, which was clinicians, clinics, healthcare practitioners, and how they might not be helping the way you think they are either, which I know it sounds really weird. Danika's a kinesiologist. I'm an athletic therapist. Weird to hear two healthcare practitioners talking about how the traditional model actually might not be helping you much. But as you kind of follow along on this journey with us for the rest of the month, you're going to see a lot of kind of trends as we work through different ideas and dig into kind of some of the areas that we're working on changing here at Studio D. And that trend is going to be But it's not necessarily that the traditional model doesn't work. It just doesn't work the way we've been doing it in the past. And it's going to be a lot of taking concepts and trying to look at them from a different perspective, look at them from a different lens. And this is one of those things. I think the traditional model is you go in, you have a healthcare practitioner, they do the work on you, and it becomes almost like you're reliant on them. It's less of a partnership, less of a teamwork environment, and it's more of a you come in with a problem, they fix the problem, and then the problem undoes itself, and you have to go back. And we have this cycle. And as I've said before, I don't like the cycle. The cycle's no good. It's not a long-term fix. It's a Band-Aid fix, and we don't do that here. So the real problem is with the healthcare practitioner, not the healthcare practitioner in and of itself. It's just the environment that they've traditionally worked in the setting that they traditionally work in. And so we're trying to move away from that. And the way we're kind of moving away from that is posing the question of what happens when you take health out of the clinic. And so Danika touched on, when you apply an intervention in the clinic, does it leave the clinic after you've gone? Does your healthcare practitioner talk to your gym instructor? Do they talk to your, people that are in your activities of daily living? Really, there's no communication there. Nobody's talking. And so it's not super transferable. So what we're trying to do is take health out of the clinic and apply it to every aspect of your life. And this is where Danika ended off, and this is where we're going to kind of spend the rest of our time is Danika introduced our first pillar, which is lifestyle management. And I know Danika already apologized for the terminology. I'll apologize for the terminology. We tried to figure out a different word that didn't feel wrong to us, but we really couldn't get away from it. And that's because it really speaks to the truth of how we approach new patients here at Studio D. And that is that you need to look at the building blocks, and you need to start at the very, very beginning. And no matter where your goal is, whether that's a fitness goal, whether that's a diet or nutrition goal, whether it's a stress management goal, whether you have asthma and you just want to make your lifestyle a bit healthier or better, or manage that condition, doesn't matter what your goals are. We're always, always, always going to start with you at lifestyle. What does your life look like? What are the building blocks of your everyday activities? Because if I give the same program to, somebody who's a businessman, who's traveling a lot, jetting across the globe all the time, in the office all the time, if I give that same program to, stay-at-home mom, it's not going to work for so many reasons, but mostly because it's not going to fit with their lifestyle. And if it's not going to fit with your lifestyle, you're not going to be successful. And I've seen it so many times, people trying to fit the two things together, and they just don't. And that's coming up against a barrier that's going to make you unsuccessful immediately. And it's so easy to just look at it right from the get-go. And instead of trying to fit your lifestyle around these impossible goals that somebody's created for you, we want to fit the goal into your lifestyle so that you can actually be successful and have, the support from all aspects. One of the examples I like to use is honestly with my personal experience. I have worked on lots of fitness goals, lots of nutrition goals, lots of all goals. And I felt like, I'm successful for a point, but usually the rest of kind of the goals fall off at any given time. Never really able to adapt them together. And I actually reached out to one of our team members, our nutritionist, on our team very recently. And I was just like, look, I need to start over. I need a clean slate. I need to look at some of my nutrition goals because, I just feel like I've seen so many people and I've asked for different professionals' opinions. And usually what happens is I sit down with professionals like, oh, you need to eat this much protein. These are the vegetable servings you need. And here are all the micronutrients and blah, 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 blah. It never works for me. And so recently I was like, okay, I just need a clean slate. I need to talk through with somebody because any healthcare practitioner will tell you our own health is our biggest blind spot. We're not good at looking at it. Even we need to reach out to qualified professionals to get help with it. So I did that recently, and it was very interesting. And this really is a testament to what amazing people we work with and how we really cultivate like-minded people in the clinic. And she sat down with me, and not once did she talk to me really about food at all, actually. For the entire hour, we talked about what my life was like and when I was, had the opportunity to eat in my day, and when was I triggered to look for food, or when was I, drinking 3 coffees in an hour, looking at my life and what food relationship I have in my life. And that was a huge, transformation, because traditional model, I'd never thought about it like that. And that's really what we need to do with all aspects of health. We need to shift it up, we need to shake it up, and we need to look at it differently. And this is a great example of how we're going to do that. And so, I mean, the moral of the story is that we're always going to start at the beginning. We're always going to start with that foundation. We're always going to start with lifestyle management, because that's going to set us up to be successful working with you. It's going to set you up to be successful working on your goals, and it will make us an incredible team that can go down your journey. And at the end of the journey, you should have all the tools you need to continue keeping those aspects of your life really, really alive, and you shouldn't be dependent on anybody, not even us. So that does kind of conclude what I'm going to talk about today, guys. And I'm going to sign off here today. Please, 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 please check us out on Friday. We're going live again to kind of continue to dig in to this conversation. So if you're liking this conversation, if you're ready to get involved in the discussion, we love hearing from you guys. We really want it to be a discussion and a dialogue, and we want to hear from you guys and hear what your personal experiences and stories are. So please like and comment below so we can continue the conversation, and tune in on Friday to join Danika on the next installment of digging into all of these health industry areas that we're going to work on. So thank you so much for joining me today, guys.